Hey, let's welcome
Episode or part two.
welcome Michael back to part two of our earlier conversation we had in the first podcast. Um, I'm wanting to ask you, and the what I learned today is, should you cultivate the ideals of other people for your character? Like, should you allow what people think about you to help you mold your own personality, or should you not? Some people might see something in you that you may not see in yourself. In a positive realm, that I think that's a good idea. I think it's great to for people to say, hey, you know what, you like to argue, you should be an attorney, or you know, you're a thinker, you should sign up for Jeopardy, things like that. But what about those negative undertones that people say, well, you nice, but you too sweet, or you sweet, but you too nice.
Right.
Like, how do you break that down? How do you internalize that? Should I not be nice? Should I be a little less nice? Like, should you do those things or just be like, that's just that one person's opinion and move on?
Right.
What you think?
Um, well,
Well,
second. You welcome.
Michael's still at work, y'all. We gotta
Yeah.
bear with him. I feel in the dead air with beatboxing.
Okay, so uh I'm probably the perfect person to have this conversation with because I have done that. I have let people uh label me and dictate to me I'm this, I'm that, and the third. And I then, I don't know, potentially I guess embody it. It's like they spoke it and I just adopted it and sought to find a way for them to not think that. So
Mm,
much to the point where on two occasions, I want to say in 2018, I took a piece of paper and wrote down all of the labels and uh like negative things that's been said to me, whether it was a label, whether it was projection, whether it was what people thought about me. Uh, and I set out to like be able to cross each one out, be able to address each one. You know what I mean? And that's like giving power to something that's not necessarily even true. You know what I mean? Like just because I in my heart care about what people think about me. And I know people say, oh, you shouldn't care about what people think. And I mean, yeah, but when it's people that you care about, if you care about them, you're going to care about what they think. You going, or at least I looked and started to look inside myself to try to see if those things were true, but it's it's no way to really get people to like I probably heard from maybe you, um, our boy Battle, which is, people might not know him, but that's our boy Michael. He's another Michael.
Shadow.
um, but I like you and him have actually addressed me like Mike, you done came a long way from this, that, and the third. And it's not that, I still don't have moments, but I'm not 30-year-old Mike. I'm not 22-year-old Mike. I'm not 18-year-old Mike. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
I'm not that good. And
You
then
78 years old.
in some regards, I have some things to me now. Of course, everything has increased, but you know, when it comes to just still getting hit with that type of stuff, if you're weak, it's going to affect you. There's no way around that. So you just gotta stay strong because people real vicious with their words and what they think about you nowadays more than themselves. Like people don't look in the mirror. Instead, they just address you. But oftentimes the things that they are actually addressing in you is also a problem. It might not even be a problem in you. It's actually a problem in them
Right.
a lot of times. And then, but then how does that make me sound? Am I labeling? You know what I mean? Because, it's not the case all the time. No, but a lot of times people can recognize things because, I mean, how else can you recognize things? You understand it because it may be a part of you if you haven't already dealt with it, been through it, whatever the case may be. But usually, you know, that's what it is. I mean, in in essence, that means a lot of times we be telling on ourselves too, and just won't, uh, just won't be honest about it. Like I told you, when I think about it, the last relationship I was in, I was also hearing that, like, I thought you was talking to somebody else. I thought you was talking to somebody else. I thought you was talking to somebody else. And I randomly asked, like, are you talking to somebody else? And then she just told me straight up, like, I'm, I mean, it's messed up, but at least you kept it 100. So I know
It is
not
what
to
it
waste my
is.
time. But you was trying to point that out to me because that's actually what you was doing. So a lot of times when people try to stamp something on you, you know, and they say that about people that like people that be cheating, like, oh, if they blaming you with that, that means that they doing it. That's just a saying. But
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of times if people are saying you this, you that, a lot of times it's them. You know what I
Sure
mean? So
enough. Sure
they
enough.
just they mature enough to be able to see it in you, but not mature enough to be able to actually address it within themselves, which is crazy. It's real crazy to me. And will call you out, will get at you, will uh what I mean, address you about it. But then if you get to wanting to respond or have a rebuttal in regards to that, they're not really open to that. They're not. I've experienced even recently, like a week ago.
I
I
mean,
know for sure.
that's why the deputy got shot.
And that's why the deputy got shot.
For real. You may have not
No.
shot the sheriff, but you sure shot the deputy. But
You
so
got more?
if you're saying
Mm.
that um people with negative things about your personality, um like they say, well, what about personality traits like you're too nonchalant. You overthink things too much. Like what about things like that?
Oh, yeah, I didn't heard that a lot too. You overthinking this, and you doing this. I mean, considering I done been through so much with people, and it usually results in I have a Hattori Hanzo sword in my back. And for
Well, it's
those that
like,
don't know,
are you supposed to
that's the
work on
sword
that,
from
or are they supposed to be
Kill
working on
Bill.
dealing with it?
You said what?
It's like, are you supposed to work on that, or are they supposed to work on dealing with it?
I mean,
Like you said, if somebody
I
cares
mean,
about you, you care about what they think, but if somebody cares
yeah.
about you, you let them be them. As long as you're
Well,
not
are you
hurting
supposed to
anybody or,
work on it? Are you supposed to work on it? It's kind of malicious because it's like basically you then are living for their approval or validation. And why? We don't live for people's approval or validation.
some people do. Some
I
people,
mean, but all in all, we're that's not how you're supposed to move. You know what I mean?
yeah.
But I mean, if it depends on the situation. Like if that's a friendship or a relationship, I mean, you can try, but speaking from experience, that don't mean that don't mean they're gonna accept you. That actually means you on your way out. Because when I think about everybody who's put me through that, they're gone. Literally. Like Everybody who's labeled me, oh this, oh that, oh this, oh that. It started with my backstabbing old boys. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And oh this, that, this, that. Say whatever to me or about me. And for a while, I was saying it directly to me, but then I learned was talking behind my back and felt, however they felt increasingly. And so ultimately, those friendships dissolved. You know, and I've had that happen in relationships, and you know, basically those are things that you can't come back from because people get set in their mind about other people. There, a lot of people are not chameleons and able to adapt. A lot of people are not thinkers and actually wonder, you know, how am I, how am I able to say that about somebody? How am I? That's because it's basically passing judgment, and it may be inaccurate, but we're dealing with humans, so good luck. That's like the best thing I can say. Good luck. But speaking from experience, I wouldn't recommend nobody actually put in the time and effort to, uh, it feels like real bad stuff to try to get people to think or feel otherwise. Just be like, just jump straight to the point. Like, how you doing? Just jump straight to the point. Like, um, just be like, why you feel that way? Where that's coming from? Hello. Yeah. Here you go. Because, like, for instance, if somebody said that about me nowadays, I'm just going to say, well, you know, for one, I be wanting to know, but why do you feel that way? Where's that coming from? What did I do to make you think that? And then basically just be like, I mean, it's kind of cutthroat, but just be like, well, if you feel that way, like that's something that could really be a detriment to our friendship. So maybe, if you feel that way, but I don't see that in myself, then we need to go our separate ways. Because I mean, just think about that, Chuck. Like people that say stuff or think stuff about people, it doesn't really change depending on the type of person they are. Like it's rare for me to keep coming across. Like I said, you and Mike. Like, uh, what's Battle's last name? Michael Carter. To be clear, there's a lot of Michaels out here, and I don't like 75% of them. I actually don't like the name Mike. Because pretty much every Mike a lot of Mikes that I've known, they have stabbed me in the back, except like one, well, two. But yeah, he, had it enough in himself to look at me, say, you know, I think this is where you at, or what this and that is, and then didn't leave me stuck in a box, seeing my progression, and then acknowledge me on it. You did that, he did that. And not saying that my other, the people that is still my friends haven't done that. It's just a lot of things. We either don't have those types of conversations or whatnot. Because I mean, a part of it is a lot of us didn't either known each other for so long that we just have accepted each other for who we are, and it's just a true brotherhood. You know what I mean? Whereas you can meet people that's not accepting of you at all. So it really depends on the people, and usually it's not friendship, but I mean, but at times it is, especially with women, because women don't often get along with women, and but it's usually relationships that I see these things happening. And you take the mic because you got me running my mouth. Shot. Uh-oh. In my chocolate, where are you? Shot. Ladies and gentlemen, this woman has disappeared, but I don't know if I can still be heard or not. But I will add that we basically been having a conversation about just I don't know a lot of the trials and tribulations I've been going through in regards to just other people and their thoughts and judgments uh, on just us or just in general. That's really what this one is about. I'm thinking Chuck probably got a call, so I'm gonna anchor this thing. But yeah, we gotta stop. Really, we have to stop doing that. We have to let people progress. A baby ain't gonna crawl on day one. A baby ain't gonna walk on month six. Not usually. Um, and nothing happens overnight. So uh, being judgmental and living in this culture of appropriation that we live in right now, where everybody want to tell everybody what everybody should be doing, but while you're telling that person that, you got a multitude of problems of your own. And you know, just like everybody be looking at these celebrities and all of that, but it's like, bro, like, I know it's some people in court right now, but I'm not a part of that. I'm not at the courtroom. I'm at work. My daughter got a prom today. I'm about to go be with her. See her, send her off. I'm like, that's not my life. You know what I mean? Like, we just implement ourselves into things that don't even belong to us and make it like our voice should be important and be heard. That's why social media is what it is, because I mean, now it's turned into, and really from the beginning, like Twitter and Facebook and all of that, a lot of people just use those things, those platforms, as a means to say what they want to say. And families are broken up because of it. Relationships are tainted because of it. All types of things, you know.
Mhm.
And we don't we don't actually take the time to respect each other enough to, for one, keep things close to the chest, especially family. Um, and outside of family, like we don't keep it real with one another. We just look to berate one another,
Right.
honestly. And I
Yeah.
did take over the show, Chuck. I figured you had a phone call, so I took over. Um, so I was talking to the people, but yeah, like that's just really what this is about. Yeah, I don't know how much you caught it at, but go in.
Man. I mean, to get unity, we gotta have togetherness. We gotta have collaboration. We gotta
Right.
have, you know, synergy. Something that keeps.
Exact. There you go. I've been using that word a lot lately too. Synergy. People don't want that though. People want, man. When I say people really truly want you to be
Give
what
them what
they
the
want you to
people
be,
want.
people want you to be what they want you to be. Instead of
Yeah.
seeing the value in what you are, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
instead of seeing the value in what you are, people want you to be what they want you to be. I can't put it no perfect way.
Yep.
That's the perfect. Shout out to the boy hitting the quotable.
But
Cause
you
it's
know,
like,
that's just a part of the kind of circle of people that you have around you as well. Like
right.
you want to build a circle of collaborators with you, people that also want the same things that you want, whether they're building car models or building brands or starting television or you want
Yeah.
people that have these things on their scope as well, so that you can grow and be inspired by that.
Right. You know, I mean, then I have those people. I mean, people high up that I would consider high up over me, like my brother, basically my brother Runner. Might as well say, you know, I look at him uh, as a form of inspiration, and he turns around and tells me he proud of me, and uh, you know, keep going, and that I inspire him, and I'm like, huh, and it's I don't know, it's then maybe got to a point where I don't even know how to accept. Uh, being acknowledged because I've been getting berated all my life. You know what I mean? So I don't know how to do that. No, you went on the phone with me that day last week. Lady pulled up and was like, uh, "You too, you too fine to be frowning."
Yeah.
And it's even stuff like that. Like I don't know, I didn't know. I'm not. I don't know. I'm not the one that usually gets acknowledgement often. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I hear it here and there. Like when my sister was up here, her friend was up here. They like, "Oh, you handsome," and this and that. But that's what that was like. What February? Whenever it was for like a birthday or something like that. But
Hmm.
it's just like hearing good words from your people, from your tribe, and that's a big thing too. You just got to find your tribe. I've learned. I always seen Kyrie saying that, but no, that's true. You got to find your people because everybody ain't for you,
Oh yeah.
and you ain't. And
Everybody ain't
I,
for you.
yeah, but they'll put the mask on and act like it. And then the minute that you do something, or the minute that they said too much, especially if it's behind your back, and they can come back around to you, and you know, definitely, you'll be looking at them a certain type of way, and then of course the relationship will be more strained. Instead, they go into hiding. They throw rocks and hide their hand. You know what I mean? So it's just like I said, instead of seeing the good in people, people just want to tear you down because if you're not being what they want you to be, then they see you as worthless.
To hell with you.
Yeah, like I literally just went through that. That's the situation I just had, where it was like, no, yeah, no, yeah, and you ain't, no, we not gonna move this way. We gonna move like that, and then the next day, you know,
Yeah.
like
I think
it's
some of
it's not.
everybody has um difficulties with building partnerships and relationships. I too have a friend that when I first met them, they were very encouraging, very inspiring and lifting me up to not like, giving me compliments, nothing, but just, making me want to learn more, making me want to be like, oh, well, how did you know that? I want to learn that too. Like, but now, some years into our friendship,
Uh,
now I've went past them, in a sense. Like,
uh,
and, I'm not getting that same, um, I'm not getting that same thing from them that I used to get. Almost getting the opposite to where, I feel like they are, um, unproductive and encouraging. And I don't know how I feel about that for the last I'll say 2 months. I've been wondering I'm gonna keep the friendship, of course, but should I not be as invested into it because they are not the same person anymore. They're not growing. They're stuck. And
mm,
it's been a little difficult for me to even start thinking about that because of how much I respected them as an elder and as a scholar.
okay, so I got a challenge for you.
Yes,
I dare you to go tell them as a true friend,
I
because I
have.
mean friendship. Oh, okay. I'm about to say friendship don't mean we got to be yes men and women to each other. We supposed to just keep it real with each other. Like that's how you
Well,
grow. You know
when
what
I
I
say
mean?
I have in a sense to where I was like, um,
Yeah,
try to motivate them, like, hey, what happened to that gusto you used to have? What happened to, that fire you had in you and that that wanting to learn more and
that's interesting.
do more? And they're like, yeah, yeah, well, they got a lot of excuses on why they don't or they aren't like that anymore. And you know how I
That's
am with
interesting.
excuses, Mike. You already know how I am with excuses.
And it's interesting you say that because I've been fighting with that. like fighting to keep my and it. I mean, if I had to speak to something that could be the reason why, it could be like constantly going through trials and tribulations, or having the wrong people around you, or you know, certain things come up every time you try to make progress. But do they know that that's a spiritual battle? More than likely, like the devil
Hmm.
is trying to prevent you from wanting to do more. So that's where they will need somebody that's spiritual to let them know, like, hey, get up. You know what I mean? But how
Yeah.
many people we got out here like that? Like they're not gonna tell them. They're just gonna, you know, say something mean to them and then go from there.
Yeah, for real.
And you didn't say nothing mean to them, but you
No,
know,
of course not.
and I ain't making no excuse for them, but I just know I've been fighting with continuing to do the things that I've been doing. That and a lot of times you be right on the cusp for the next, the next jump, and you, life keep hitting you. You be,
Oh yeah.
you just, I guess you just got
Yeah.
to take the punches.
Oh, it's gonna get you.
Yeah, like you
In,
just got to
in,
take the punches.
in
Like I
conclusion
said
of
on the,
this, how like you do gotta take the punches, but you do also like have to fight back and learn who you are and what things you expect from people. And maybe back when you were in 20s, it was okay with people having a certain type of language. But as you get older and your kids are growing up, your family is changing, do you still want the people that have that same kind of language to be around you? Like,
no,
are you able to grow within that dissension?
no. Well, actually, maybe. You mean as an individual, or
Yeah.
oh,
Like
it
if you
depends on
reach
the
your
person.
peak with somebody and they're plateauing. They're just, they're not, you know, like when you was talking about earlier in the other episode about building. They're not building anymore. They're just sitting on the supplies. What are you supposed to do with that?
That's a really good question. Because at one point, I mean, if we doing the whole building thing, like there was a time where everything I got going on now was not supposed to feature the people that's involved. It was supposed to feature my brother. You know what I mean? My boys.
Right.
It wasn't supposed to be no outsiders. It wasn't supposed to be uh nobody else. But then I learned in the process, like as I'm going along, and the acknowledgement that I don't even get from them, or I didn't get from them in the past, I'm getting from people that I network with. You know what I mean? So sometimes some situations require different friendships, partnerships, whatever. You know what I mean? It just depends on what's going on.
Okay. So in 30 seconds or less, what would you tell your younger self that would help your older self grow as a person?
Focus on yourself and only let people in who fight their way in.
Hmm. Interesting.
Yeah, 'cause that
Interesting.
means they want to be there.
Yeah, it does mean they want to be there.
And
But
just focus on yourself.
flip that around. If somebody's trying to be them and um, focus on them, and you're trying to fight your way in, how long are you going to be in that battle?
Uh,
And at what
Me
point do you
personally.
say, I'm tired of fighting for a friendship that nobody else is fighting for?
Oh yeah, it's a time limit. Because I
So just
did
listen
fight
to
the
those
people.
cues, right? Just listen to those words and those things that come because the people are going to show them their true colors eventually.
Right.
They're going to show up and say, "Oh, you didn't know that about me? No, I steal. Really?
You said what I
Yeah,
feel.
I've been stealing since elementary school. Oh, really? You know what I mean? Like, I didn't know that about you. Don't come over my house anymore. I'm a kleptomaniac. I'm a shopaholic. I use shopping as therapy. These are kind of the attributes of people that you either gonna deal with them or you not.
Right,
Simple as that. So listen, people out there in podcast land,
man. Part three.
part well, they're probably gonna be part three.
Part three.
Um,
We coming back with the
don't
third
just
one.
settle for people that make you feel comfortable in your circle. Be with people that
Exactly.
challenge you, that make you want to be a better person and not in a negative way. I don't know why people always say you can't take constructive criticism. That's a negative way to give someone advice, is to criticize them. You don't
I have a response.
criticize somebody in order for them to get a piece of advice. So try to try to learn who you are. Try to build on the things that you're great at. And those people that you want to come around you will, because they see your work. They see you. You're not going to be hanging around a whole bunch of soccer players and you're a chemist.
Right.
So seek out these groups, and be a part of the situation, but let those friends, let those people come to you. And when I talk like this, I'm thinking about my kids, my nieces and nephews, and how they're growing up to be, adults, and also some adults. There's some 30-year-olds that still ain't found their way, and I hope one day that they do. I hope that one day that they see that life isn't always just about um, having things or getting the best things. And I guess we'll end it on that. Wait for part three. We will be coming back at you guys. Mike, thanks for joining me on here today. Um,
All right.
this has been the what we learned and what we're trying to put out there that we've learned. Maybe it might help somebody else learn.
What I learned today.
What I learned today. Um, yes, and thank you and good night, everybody. Hold on. Jiminy crickets. Oh.